Hello everyone, I am Shashank Pandey, final year civil engineering student, Faculty of Engineering and Technology, University of Lucknow. I am going to give a seminar presentation on use of steels like aggregate as a road construction material under the guidance of engineer Jiten Pratap Singh. Let's get started. This is my content and next 10 to 15 minutes I am going to talk about what is steel slag, its aggregate properties, steel slag and asphalt mix properties, why do we need an alternative product, what were we hoping to achieve, environmental consideration, advantage, disadvantage, case studies, conclusion and references. Introduction. What is steel slag? Steel slag is a byproduct obtained from steel industry. It is generated as a residue during the production of steel. During the production of steel, around 1 ton of steel slag is generated. It has been noticed that per year 50 million ton of steel slag is generated from different steel industries throughout the world. 150 to 200 kilogram of steel slag is generated from 1 ton of steel production. Because of the high disposal cost as a waste material and the overall positive feature of steel slag, it has been declared a useful construction material. It is recycled as an aggregate for the construction of road pavement base and for the surfacing of flexible pavement. It is also used in soil stabilization. Because of significant amount of free iron, steel slag become hard and dense to provide high abrasion resistance. It is a rough textured, sufficient angular, vascular and porous material. Steel slag aggregate. Let's discuss about aggregate properties. The properties that have to evaluated for the suitability of slag as an aggregate relate to the chemical, physical and mechanical nature of the material. Let us discuss about some aggregate properties. Hardness. Hardness is the ability of a material to resist deformation, which is determined by a standard test where the surface resistance to identification is measured. The most commonly used hardness tests are defined by the shape or type of indent, the size, and the amount of load applied. Toughness. Toughness means resistance against impact load. In material science and metallurgy, toughness is the ability of a material to absorb energy and plastically deform without fracturing. Toughness is the strength with which the material opposes rupture. The second one is high fines aggregate crushing test. The aggregate crushing test gives a relative measure of the resistance of an aggregate to crushing under a gradually applied compressive load. Third one is low aggregate crushing value. And fourth one is low Los Angeles abrasion value. Los Angeles is the apparatus that is used to measure the hardness. Next one is indicate high density and crushing strength of the steel slag aggregate because it obtained from the steel slag industry. So its density is very high and its crushing strength is already good. Some other properties. First one is durability. Durability is the ability of a physical product to remain functional without requiring excessive maintenance or repair when faced with challenge of normal operation over its design lifetime. Next one is resistance to stripping. Stripping is the suppression of the asphalt binder film from the aggregate surface due to the action of water. Since steel slag has rough surface texture, that's why it improves the stripping resistance. This is very important in the prevention of the stripping of the binder and moisture damage. Next one, steel slag with a pH of between 8 and 10 has a strong affinity to bitumen and therefore display a great degree of binder adhesion. Since we saw that its pH varies between 8 and 10, then its nature is alkaline. That's why it has a strong affinity. These are the some physical and mechanical properties of steel slag aggregate. The test conducted on bulk specific gravity. When the percentage of steel slag aggregate is zero, then its value is 2.92, and when percentage of steel slag aggregate is 50%, its value is 2.93. When the percentage of steel slag aggregate is 75, then its value is 2.95. When the percentage of steel slag aggregate 100%, then the value of bulk specific gravity is 3.10. We see that its value means bulk specific gravity is increases with increment of percentage of steel slag aggregate. Next test is absorption percentage. Its value is 2.3 when the percentage of steel slag aggregate is 0, and it increases up to 3.2 when percentage of steel slag aggregate is 100. Next test is Los Angeles abrasion percentage. Its value is 14 when the percentage of steel slag aggregate is 0, and decreases up to 10 when the percentage of steel slag aggregate is 100. That representing the good hardening properties of steel slag as a road construction material. Next test is flakiness percentage. Its value is 22.1 when the percentage of steel slag aggregate is 0, and it decreases up to 8.4 when the percentage of steel slag aggregate is 100%. And flakiness percentage should always be less than 15%. And we see that when the percentage of steel slag aggregate is increased, its value is decreases. That is a good measure for a road construction material. Next text is elongation percentage. Its value is 21.0 and the percentage of steel slag aggregate is 0%, and it decreases up to 7.5 when the percentage of steel slag aggregate is 100%, and it should always be less than 15%. It is same as flakiness percentage. Next one is stripping and coating. It is above 95. Here is the picture of steel slag aggregate, and we saw that it has a vascular structure. Next one is steel slag asphalt mixer. Mix properties. Strength and stability. Since steel slag has a rough textured surface, high specific gravity, and the proper interlocking due to angularity of steel slag aggregate, result better stability and resistance against rutting as well. It has a cuticle shape, that's why the aggregate enables the formation of a strong interlocking structure within the asphalt mixture, which exhibit high stiffness and excellent resistance to permanent deformation. Steel slag are hydrophobic, alkaline in nature, means its pH is approx 12, whereas the bitumen bound are normally acidic, pH is less than 7. This property of steel slag provide a good adhesion and helps to resist against the stripping. Why do we need an alternative product? First one is change in traffic spectrum. In spectrum, it includes traffic data and the full range of street traffic data. Second one is change in traffic loading, means the total mass of passengers, luggage, cargo, including any non-revenue load. Heavy traffic damage. That one is rutting and sowing. What is rutting? Rutting is the formation of valleys in the surface or wearing course of asphalt road and bridge decks. Sowing is a close cousin of rutting. Sowing is the presence of small mound or roughing in the wearing course called by horizontal stress. Intersection and highway off-ramps are common areas that exhibit in the sowing properties. Moisture damage means it has a good result in wet environment. And the next one is gradient. And next, temperature range. Temperature means it has a better result in summer as well as in winter season. When the road surface temperature begin to approach the softening point of bitumen, the high surface temperature cause the asphalt to become plastic and then deform very easily, resulting in rutting. Whereas the heat retention property of steel slag is an advantage. That's why we use an alternative product. What what are we hoping to achieve? First one is improved skid resistance, that is polished stone value. Polish stone value of a coarse aggregate is an indicator that reflects the ability of coarse aggregate to resist the polishing action of tires and is used to characterize the ability of coarse aggregate to maintain a certain coefficient of friction against the abrasion. Scream value. The full name of scream is Side Force Coefficient Routine Investigation Machine. It is measured on various categories of road as well for 100 mm and 14 mm surface tracing. Scream value is used to measure the skid resistance. Next one is it provides steel's better stability and resistance against rutting. As compared to natural aggregate, it provides an ideal durability, permeability, stability, and resistance against abrasion, cracking, and permanent deformation. Environmental consideration. Advantage. Since aggregate is obtained from natural rock, mining of the aggregate leads to the reduction of natural resource. The countries having limited resource of natural aggregate are thinking to save their natural resource for their future generation. A large area is utilized for the disposal of such solid waste, producing by industries. Factors like environment, economic, technical, and efficiency of proper construction material have diverted the attention of researchers to other alternatives. As a result, they have explored a variety of recycled material which can be used in aggregate. And one of them was steel slag aggregate. It has a various advantages as like it reduces landfill, reduce the need to quarry and mining, preserve our natural resources. It is an initiative from waste to wealth and it promotes sustainability. Disadvantage. In steel slag, it has a negligible disadvantage as compared to its advantage. Uh, One of them is the particle of steel waste also get into the air and even seep into the ground, reaching the underground water table. Steel slag is about 20% heavier than limestone and granite. This may be an economic disadvantage. Economically, the steel slag may be cheaper if it utilized in urban road, but it would be expensive for rural road due to transportation charge. Let us see some case studies. First case study. It is conducted in Germany. According to National Slag Association, iron and steel slag have been used in engineering construction for more than 150 years. It is being used as aggregate in replacement of natural aggregate for the bonding application instead of Portland cement, fill material, railroad ballast, and subgrade soil stabilization. In 1998, up to 97% of the total generated steel slag has been used in different ways for the construction of high traffic roads of Germany. It is utilized as aggregate for surface lower, roadways, and subways. It is also utilized in earthwork and hydraulic structure as well. After compaction, it provides a satisfactory particle interlocking and high stability. Next one is experiment studies showed that the proper interlocking due to angularity of steel slag result better stability and resistance against rutting as well. It has a various advantage as like it has a proper skid resistance as well. Second case study. It is conducted in Gujarat. In India, Surat has become the first city in the country to get a processed steel slag means industrial waste road built as part of a joint venture project by the Council of Scientific and Industrial Research that is CSIR, Central Road Research Institute that is CRRI, Union Ministry of Steel, Government etc. 1 lakh ton of processed steel slag was used. Steel slag was collected from a manufacturing plant that is situated in Hazira. The road has been jointly made with CRRI, CSIR, and AMNS means ArcelorMittal and Nippon Steel. The stretch is currently being utilized for the drive to and from the modern home and sees a great deal of hardcore trafficking include trucks and rhythms. In any event, 20 stack trucks supposedly to go through this stretch every day. Specialists have said that these stages are additionally substantially and more sturdy during the rainstorm. It has a better result as compared to other bitumen binder aggregate. Here is the picture of about steel slag road that is constructed in Surat, Gujarat, and I obtained it from CSIR official website. Here is the sum of the conclusions. Steel slag produce a high quality aggregate which can benefit asphalt material in a number of ways. Steel slag aggregate can outperform natural aggregate in terms of shape. It has a cuboidal shape. That's why it has a proper interlocking. Its specific gravity is very high. That's why it provides a better stability and strength. Resistant to crushing. Next one is skid resistance. Since its pH value is more than 12 or approx 12 and the pH value of binder is less than 7. That's why it has a greater skid resistance and it has a better result in wet moisture. Durability and adhesion. Steel slag in asphalt mixture improve properties of the mix in terms of stability, resistance to permanent deformation, that one is rutting, sowing, etc., and the skid resistance. These are some references. Thank you for listening.